Average at Best Cornhole here. I always seem to gravitate to L series bags, and no different here. I got my hands on a set of Pitboss L from High Roller Bag Co. Now this review is going to be strictly about these L series because I've never thrown the regular Pitboss, so I can't compare them. I will tell you about this bag. I normally don't like to compare bags from one manufacturer to the other, but it's listed on the website that this compares to the traditional Ultra Viper R, and I would fully agree with that. This bag really reminded me of that series, and since it's on the website, I don't feel bad saying that. Starting with the materials, it does have Viewmont on the slow side, or that's better known as R carpet. The fast side, this is the smooth side of Osprey, or you can find that on the Code 3 and Omen. Because of those materials, High Roller rates this bag a 6 on the slow side with a 9 on the fast side. I do believe Viewmont, I mean, it plays closer to a 6 when it's brand new, but it does slow down some once it gets a little fuzzed up and dirty. But a lot of other companies also give this a 6, so High Roller falling right in line with the industry. I'm going to classify this template thinner, stretched medium template, if that makes sense. I mean, it is an L series, so you know it is going to be a little bit thinner, which when a bag is thinner, it feels like it plays a little bit larger than what the template is. I don't think it's approaching a large template by any means, but with the thinness and the stretch of it, it's above a medium by a little bit. And it's not a fuller bag. It is an L series, so it's more of a thinner bag than it is fuller. They have a mixed fill, but it's more of a flat mixture. You could feel the bag, and there's some odd size shaped pellets in there. I don't know if those are fillers or oblongs or whatnot, and some of them do feel pretty rounded, so this isn't like all flat fill shoved into a bag. It's definitely a mixture of something, and because it is an L series, they are pretty floppy. To me, this series, this is like that mid-speed bag series that's easy to throw, forgiving as heck, and you're just going to want to run holes with it, and I think that's the highlight of it. It does have a little bit of action to it, so I don't want to say you're not going to be able to shape shots, but I really think you take its forgiveness and use that to your advantage because you are going to get those accidental grabs. It is going to slide straight for you on the board. Unfortunately, I think the low light's going to be that this bag might be a little too floppy for some throwers. It's not too floppy for me, and I'm not saying this is overly floppy. This is not like an extremely, extremely floppy bag. I know that there's those fuller bag snobs out there that are going to pick this up and be like, oh no, that's just way too floppy for me. But that really can't be a low light of the bag because you are buying the L series. So you should expect you're going to get a bag that is a little bit more floppy than what the normal Pitboss would be. Like I just said, I mean, these bags are forgiving as heck. You definitely have that forgiveness when you're talking about kick because you have that flat fill mixture and you have that hybrid material. So the bags aren't going to kick as much on you if you don't throw a flattest bag. But also you get that forgiveness around the hole because it is a little bit looser, and you're going to get those accidental grabs that I'm talking about. If you are off target a little bit, there's enough flop in this bag that the corner is going to drop over the hole, grab it, and swing the bag around. So I think that is forgiveness as well because you don't have to be dead straight on every throw when you know that the bag has the potential to make up for you being a little off target. I think the looseness and the template of this bag, kind of makes up for that flat fill mixture when you want to discuss whole bodiness because we know that flat fill could tend to hang up, but the bag, that looseness in that template really complements that flat fill, and there's enough room inside this bag for the pellets to still shift around and not want to settle, and you do have that template size with the looseness to accidentally grab the hole, so you got to give it some whole bodiness there too. So I was impressed with their whole bodiness. I didn't really see any hangups. The only thing I noticed is that if you do have a hanger, especially on the back, or that you're not going to be able to slide a bag into to grab, since it is a little bit looser, it does droop into the hole. so there's less room there for you to make an airmail drag on the bag you're trying to grab that's hanging. Collectability, I mean, that's going to be where the bag lacks a little bit because of that looseness. I found that if I accidentally laid a bag a little too short, maybe too far on my opponent's side, it was difficult to grab just because the bag is going to bunch. I didn't notice like a lot of bounce off or whatever because of that flat fill. So it did grab pretty good if you were, trying to collect straight on a bag. It was just a little bit more difficult to pull something off to the side. Now, this type of series right here, one of my favorite things to do with them is try to bunch a couple bags up, maybe even 3 in front of that hole, as you're throwing and playing, because it's going to create, a really bad obstacle for your opponent. And then your last bag, you just flip it over and throw it real hard and try to clean up as much of those bags as possible. And they are good at that. Obviously, if you have something in front of the hole, you're really not trying to grab it and pull it over. You're just going through it at that point. And for me, that's one of my play styles with a bag like this, is just try to build some up in front of the hole, knowing that I'm going to come clean it all up at the end. Like I stated earlier, I think you run holes with these. You use that forgiveness, you use that template to your advantage. And if you're throwing a bag that's going to hit the board, spin, and slide straight, I mean, that really builds your confidence, so it helps you throw straighter as well. And I think that's where this bag was really good at. You do lay blockers with it. You can lay blockers with it. Like I just stated, I always made sure to try to leave those directly in front of the hole so I could clean them up. But it's a hole runner bag. You can cut it. I did make some really good cuts with this. You can roll the bag. People can roll any bag, but I seen this bag being rolled, so you have that possibility too. But I think it's just more of a high PPR chaser. Try to get as many of these bags in the hole as you can, or lay some blockers, to try to confuse your opponent while you're doing that. You can find High Roller Bag Co. at highrollerbagco.com. There's also on Facebook, there's a page, which is High Roller Bag Co. There's also a group, which is High Roller Bag Co. And they run right at that $100 mark, which isn't bad. I mean, that's kind of like the medium spot for cornhole bags. So these are right there. I said it earlier, these bags are probably a little too loose for like a fuller bag snob, but you're buying an L series, so you should know that going into it. I guess I'm just reiterating that to you. I mean, they met all my expectations for sure. I know this is one of the more popular series from High Roller, and I could see why. Like, I like this template. I like the looseness that this bag has. It's really just one of those bags you're just going to chase PPR, or if you are struggling a little bit and you need to pull something out that is going to be a little bit more forgiving for you and a little bit more loose, so you get throwing straight again and put more bags into the hole. That's where this bag is really going to excel. And I'm just going to end this with, if you're going to be average at something, be average at cornhole.